Boker Tov, Boker O. Welcome to Boker Tov with Temple Sinai. Good morning. It's wonderful to be here with you on this Erev Shabbat, on this day before Shabbat, this Friday morning, the second day of the month of Cheshvan. Good to see people coming in and offering greetings. Good morning, Sean and Joni, and to each of you and all of you. And to one and all, we say Boker Tov, Boker O. Welcome to Boker Tov from Temple Sinai. Temple Sinai Congregation of Toronto's daily opportunity to connect, to reflect, and to remember. I'm Rabbi Michael Dolgan, and it's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. Good morning, Franklin and Sulang and Seymour, and to each and every one of you as we gather here together. Good morning, Alan. And we certainly will enjoy Shabbat tonight at Temple. It is available online, but it begins at 6:30 live in the sanctuary. And we hope everyone will choose to join us and encourage others to join us as we celebrate Shabbat together tonight, the beautiful special service. And let's begin now with our special opportunity to be together, to begin with this sense of grounding in gratitude. So let's just actually be grateful for awakening this morning and sharing in this moment. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yatzar et ha'adam bechokma u'bara bo nekavim nekavim chalulim chalulim galui v'yadua lifnei chisech vodecha she'im yipatech echad mehem o yisatem echad mehem אי אפשר להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך. ברוך אתה אדוני, רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. Blessed eternal God, creator of the universe, you have fashioned our bodies with wisdom, creating within us a finely balanced network. To stand before you in prayer is itself a fragile miracle. Eternal God, we praise you as the healer of body and spirit. And let's show our gratitude also for that amazing aspect of us that is not physical, that is unique to each of us, our neshama, our soul. It says in last week's Torah portion that God breathed this spirit into humanity and we became nefesh chaya, a living being, an ensouled living being. And really, it's amazing how often when seeing people, we can see that uniqueness, that twinkle, that power that connects each of us to something deeper and more meaningful. And let's show our gratitude for it. The soul that you have given me, O God, is a pure one. You have created and formed it, breathed it into me, and within me you sustain it. So long as my soul is within me, I will give thanks to you, eternal my God and God of my ancestors, source of all creation, sovereign of all souls. We praise you, eternal God, in whose hand is the power of all life and the spirit of all flesh. And let's join together in La'asok b'divrei Torah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. V'ha'arev na Adonai Eloheinu et divrei Toratcha b'finu, ובפי עמך בית ישראל, ונהיה אנחנו וצאצאינו, וצאצאי עמך בית ישראל, כולנו יודעי שמך ולומדי תורתך לשמה. ברוך אתה אדוני, המלמד תורה לעמו ישראל. אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור. These are the obligations whose value cannot be measured. They nourish us in this world and help us to create the world to come. Kibud av va'em, to honor fathers and mothers. Ugmilut chasadim, to perform acts of love and kindness. Vashkamat bet midrash shacharit ve'arvit, to attend the house of study morning and evening. Vachnasat orchim, to welcome the stranger. Uvikur cholim, to visit the sick. Vahachnasat kala, to provide for brides and grooms. Ulvayat hamed, to keep faith with the dead. V'yun tefillah, to pray with sincerity. V'hava'at shalom ben adam l'chavero, to make peace when there is strife. V'talmud Torah keneged kulam, and the study of Torah is equal to them all. Well, let's continue joining together in our Birchot HaShachar, our morning blessings. And today, let's say them beginning the first one in Hebrew and the second one half-half, and we'll continue. And still being aware of those families, the bodies of whose loved ones are still being held and have not been returned to them. We'll say Matir Asurim, who releases the captive, both ways, in hoping that those families can be released to move on to the next stage of their lives. Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan l'sechvi bina, להבחין בין יום ובין לילה. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you have created me in the divine image. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben chorin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you have made me a Jew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asali kol tzorki. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you open the eyes of the blind. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you release those who are held captive. And in Hebrew, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you maintain the balance of land and sea. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gavel. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you surround Israel with strength. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you give strength to the weary. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hama'avir shena me'enai, utnuma me'afapai. And so let's continue with Shema Yisrael, these words that celebrate the unity that God implanted not only within the Jewish people, but within humanity, an opportunity to connect to the image of God within, and it's that brings us together as opposed to moves us apart. Please join me in these ancient and most modern of words. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם, ויעשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל תכלת. והיה לכם לציצית, וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם, ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת. Well, good morning. And as that word emet echoes in our ears, we take a moment and through a lens of truthfulness, we look at the larger world around us and say, okay, what is it that we see? And I admit, I think it is a challenging world that we see around us as we settle into this time beyond the presence of living hostages in Gaza. And while there is not peace, as some absurdly say, but a ceasefire in the war between Israel and Hamas, words that Rabbi Perlson, alav shalom, our founding rabbi, taught me, continue to echo in my ears. He said the following, not about Israel and Gaza, but about the way in which we look at the world. He said, the Jewish goal is not to be learned, it is to be learning. That really at the heart of Jewish worldview and Jewish culture is our ability and our desire to learn, to look at the world around us like we look at the texts that have been given to us, and always ask, where can I grow? What are the lessons? What can I possibly do that might reflect that I am a human being, a member of the people of Israel who seeks to continue to learn? And as I see the position that the Jewish people are in the world, um, I see on an ongoing basis the Jews, the diaspora, like here in Toronto, using what I see around me as a measure, continuing to struggle to look at, learn what our situation is, learn new meaning, new approaches, new ways to look at that situation, and to do so in a meaningful way. And what I do not see, unfortunately, especially in the last couple of days, um, is members of an Israeli government who are willing to do the same. Not only do I see a government that, while it was in place during a number of painful but necessary military achievements in the last 2 years, I see a government who again and again refuses to allow not only themselves, but the people of the state of Israel to come to terms with the massive failure that resulted in the horrible losses of October the 7th, 2023. Likewise, I see a government that is and will continue to likely be, not only during this uh, series of time, but even afterward, Israel is likely to have a right-wing government, and it's not mine to tell the government not to be right-wing if that's the government that's elected. It's how to act. There's no question that this government chose a way of governing and approaching major issues in Israel that divided and weakened the people of the state of Israel, and that in choosing to do so, created one of the many factors that created a circumstance in which Hamas launched this horrific terrorist criminal attack that was and remains a crime against humanity. Um, and here we are, 2 years later, after so many difficulties, so many losses, some significant military achievements. And the government continues to be one that embarrasses its greatest ally in the United States through the behavior that took place while Vice President Vance was there this week. Continues to be a government that, not by looking at judicial reform, but by doing it in a way and approaching it and threatening it in a way that creates divisions among the people and shows disrespect, not only for the institution of the court, but this week, the Knesset showed active disrespect for the sitting president of the Israeli Supreme Court. Um, and that continues to work in a way that creates every sense in Israel of us versus them, as opposed to we are in this together. And while those may be the mark of our times, I worry that they represent lessons unlearned by this horrific 2 year period, this challenging 2 year period, this 2 year period that has ended in a place that, in theory, could produce some promise of a different future. And yet, when one does what one has always done, one tends to get what one has always got. I spoke on Shmini Atzeret Simchat Torah and talking about the things we here in the diaspora, I feel, can and should learn from this challenging period. I likewise feel great concern after this week for the unwillingness of the current government of Israel, both to learn the necessary lessons from what has transpired and to create a process like there was in Israel after the Yom Kippur 73 war, where the country likewise can see that lessons as a nation are being learned and therefore go forward with the strength necessary to face the challenges that no doubt will await it as challenges await every nation in the future. I really think it's important for us in all of our connections in Israel to respectfully share our concerns about these matters. Because as we have learned, one of the many things we have learned in this past period of time is that the decisions and the realities that exist on the ground in our state of Israel and our beloved state of Israel will continue to have direct impacts on us here and our people throughout the world. All of us are achiotenu and achenu. We are brothers and sisters. And so we continue praying this prayer both for those families that have not yet been reunified. Israel claims that of the 13 bodies remaining in Gaza, at least 10 of them could be located and returned. I don't have that data, but it wouldn't surprise me if this were true. And so, in solidarity with those in our people in difficulty, and especially those families, we join in Achenu in Hebrew and English. We'll have a newer version of this, hopefully, soon. אחינו, אחיותינו, כל בית ישראל הנתונים בצרה ובשביה, העומדים בין בים ובין ביבשה, המקום ירחם עליהם, ויוציאם מצרה לרווחה, ומהפלה לאורה, ומשעבוד לגאולה, פשטה ועגלה, ובזמן קריב, ונאמר אמן. Our brothers and sisters, the whole house of Israel who are in distress and captivity, whether over land or over sea, may God have mercy on them and bring them from distress to comfort, from darkness to light, from slavery to redemption, now, swiftly, and soon. And let us say, Amen. And we continue with our prayer for the soldiers of the IDF, for those, especially during this ceasefire time, who continue to stand on guard and in danger as we hope further for a possibility where an international force might actually enter and remove space for Hamas to rule Gaza. We hope for that for us and absolutely for the people of Gaza. Please join me as we say this prayer for the soldiers of the IDF and all who stand on guard for us. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב ואמותינו שרה רבקה לאה ורחל, הוא יברך את חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל ושאר מגיני עמנו העומדים על משמרתם. ישמרם הקדוש ברוך הוא ויצילם מכל צרה וצוקה ומכל נגע ומחלה, וישלח ברכה בכל מעשה ידיהם, ויקוים בהם הכתוב, וכיתתו חרבותיהם לעתים, וחניתותיהם למזמרות, לא יישאו גוי אל גוי חרב, ולא ימדון עוד מלחמה, וישבו איש תחת גפנו ותחת תאנתו ואין מחריד ונאמר Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless the soldiers of the IDF and all who stand on guard for us. May the Holy One guard them against all difficulty and distress, injury and illness. May all of their actions bring blessing, fulfilling the prophet's words. Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Let nation not lift up sword against nation, and may they learn war no more. May all sit under a vine or fig tree, with none to make them afraid, and together we say, Amen. Well, it's very meaningful to be here with you to connect and to reflect. And so now we take time to remember, recalling those who died in recent days and weeks, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our heart with our own. During the past 30 days, we extend our condolences to the families of Brenda Thompson, Michael Lee, Aloysius Wirtz, and we remember all victims of war and terror, including terror victims Melvin Kravitz and Adrian Dalby, and the following IDF soldiers whose lives have been lost in the last 30 days: Inbal Avram Kav, Itai Yavetz, Yaniv Kula, Michael Mordechai Nachmani, Shmuel Gad Rachamim. And on Yahrzeit, on the anniversary of their deaths, on this 2nd of Cheshvan, the 24th of October, 2025, we honor the life and legacy on Yahrzeit of Lilbo Ben Ali, Robert Berkovich, Bob, Lily Chapnick, Harold Cohen, Aaron Glostein, Geraldine Goodman, Ruth Jacobs, Marion Landon, Eddie Levine, Leona Panett, Earl Worth, Jenny Udashkin. Zichronam Levocha, may the memories be a blessing to us. Our griefs and our sympathies are mingled as we turn together to words sanctified by memory, words glorified by hope. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemer rabba, ve'alma divrach cheruteh ve'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chaye dechol bet Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kareh v'mu. Amen. Yeheh shemer rabba mevorach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitomam v'yitnaseh. Yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tirshbechata v'nechemata, tamiran ve'alma v'mu. Amen. Yeheh shlama rava min shmaya v'chaim, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'mu. Amen. Oseh shalom b'momav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'mu. Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and bring comfort and strength to all who remember. And together we say, Amen. Wishing everyone a Boker Tov and a Shabbat Shalom. Hope you'll join us for Shabbat services in the sanctuary tonight at 6:30. It's available online as well. And tomorrow morning at 10 in the sanctuary, available online. And we'll see you here on Boker Tov on Sunday morning again at this time at 8:30, that day of the week when there's only Boker Tov, not our in-person 7:30 a.m. minyan. Boker Tov, make it a good one.